England would have won the Euros if they had played better. If I had known it was your birthday, I would have baked a cake. If I hadn't been so tired, I would have gone out last night. Hello, it's Carly from Learn English with Carly. I hope you are well. Have you subscribed to this channel yet? If so, thank you. If not, hit that subscribe button now. I really appreciate it. Now, my 3 opening sentences are all in the third conditional. This lesson was requested by a viewer who was struggling with using the third conditional in their everyday English. So today I will teach you how to form the third conditional and when to use it. And we will look at sentences in everyday English to help you in your understanding of how we actually use it. We will end with 2 tasks so that you can practice what we're learning, how to form the third conditional and understanding its meaning, as well as writing your own sentences. Please do write to me in the comments box under this video to demonstrate some of your own sentences. I will reply to all your comments. And if, like the viewer who requested this video, please feel free to write to me with suggestions of videos you'd like to see. Let's take a look then at how we form the third conditional. The structure of the third conditional is if plus the past perfect, would have plus the past participle. If I had known it was your birthday, I would have baked a cake. If Claire had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. If I had remembered to charge my phone, I wouldn't have missed your call. If John's father hadn't been ill, he would have gone to university. If we had booked the tickets earlier, we would have got better seats. In this sentence, note that Americans, unlike Canadians, will use gotten and not got as the past participle. Brits tend to say got as the past participle, but both versions are fine. Now, most grammar books teach you the structure that I've just used. If plus the past perfect, would have plus the past participle. However, I would argue that we can also switch the 2 elements around to would have plus the past participle, if plus the past perfect. Using the same sentences as before, let's switch the formula around. I would have baked a cake if I had known it was your birthday. Claire would have passed the exam if she had studied harder. I wouldn't have missed your call if I had remembered to charge my phone. John would have gone to university if his father hadn't been ill. We would have got better seats if we had booked the tickets earlier. My reason for saying that it's okay to switch the elements around is because as long as you have the if and then the correct elements to the sentence, it doesn't matter if you start with would have plus the past participle or if plus the past perfect first. Okay, when do we use the third conditional? We use the third conditional to discuss hypothetical past situations that did not happen and their possible outcomes. For example, if it had rained, we would have stayed indoors. It didn't rain, so we didn't stay indoors. If you had run faster, you would have won, but you didn't run faster. If I had been hungry, I would have eaten something, but I wasn't hungry. We also use the third conditional to express regrets, usually about our past actions and missed opportunities. For example, if I had taken that job offer, I would have moved to London, but I didn't take the job, so I didn't move. If Karen had worn her seatbelt, she wouldn't have been injured in the car crash, but she didn't wear her seatbelt and was hurt. If James had told me the truth, I would have respected his decision, but he didn't tell me the truth. And our third use of the third conditional is speculating about different outcomes. The third conditional can help us think about how different choices might have changed our lives. For example, if we had moved to New York, we would have had new experiences, but we didn't move. If the road hadn't been icy, the accident wouldn't have happened, but the road was icy. If Yasser had studied harder, he would have got a better job, but he didn't study hard. So he has a job he doesn't like and that perhaps doesn't pay well. If Susie had studied abroad, she would have gained valuable experience, but she didn't study abroad, so she doesn't have that experience. With us learning how to form the third conditional and when to use it, let us now return to the original 3 sentences that I used at the beginning of this video and look in detail at exactly how they are formed and what they mean. England would have won the Euros if they had played an easier team in the final, or if they played better. This means that England didn't play an easier team or play well in the final, so they didn't win. Congratulations to Spain, by the way. Here we have used the would have plus past participle followed by if and past perfect. If I had known it was your birthday, I would have baked a cake. This means that I didn't know it was your birthday, so I didn't bake a cake. This is a regret and a missed opportunity. Things could have been different if I knew when your birthday was. Here I used if and past perfect first, followed by would have and past participle. If I hadn't been so tired, I would have gone out last night, but I was too tired to go out. Again, I used if plus the past perfect first, followed by would have and the past participle. Now it's time to test ourselves. Our first task is a gap fill so that we can check our understanding of the structure of the third conditional. Fill in the gaps with the correct past perfect after if and the correct past participle after would have. Sentence 1. If I, please use no, you were coming, I cook more food. If I had known you were coming, I would have cooked more food. I'm slightly distracted because there are several squirrels above my head and they're throwing down conkers and bits of wood. Autumn in Canada. Number 2. If she study medicine, she be a doctor by now. If she had studied medicine, she would have been a doctor by now. Number 3. If they leave on time, they catch the train. If they had left on time, they would have caught the train. Number 4. If the player not break, negative, his leg, he play in the match. If the player hadn't broken his leg, he would have played in the match. 5. If you tell me about the problem, I help you. If you had told me about the problem, I could have helped you. 6. If we go to that restaurant, we have a great meal. If we had gone to that restaurant, we would have had a great meal. Number 7. If Layla take my advice, she avoid that mistake. If Layla had taken my advice, she would have avoided that mistake. Number 8. If it be sunny yesterday, we go to the beach. If it had been sunny yesterday, we would have gone to the beach. Number 9. If I not spend all my money, I buy that jacket. If I hadn't spent all my money, I would have bought that jacket. And number 10. If she realized the truth, she not make that decision. That sounds like strange English. If she had realized the truth, she wouldn't have made that decision. Our final exercise today is to encourage you to write your own sentences using the third conditional. I want you to reflect on the following scenarios. Think about how things might have turned out differently if certain conditions had been met. Write down your answers using the third conditional. For example, number 1, our first scenario is that you missed a flight or train. How could you have avoided that situation? You could respond with, if I had left my house earlier, I would have been on time for my flight. Okay, the next 5 questions are 5 scenarios for you. You missed an important event, for example, a wedding, a party, or a concert. What would you have done differently? Our next scenario, you didn't perform well in an exam. What could you have done to achieve a better result? Your holiday plans were ruined by bad weather. How might your trip have been different? You didn't apply for a job that you really wanted. What would have happened if you had applied? And finally, you made a decision that you later regretted. How would you have acted differently? So in summary, the third conditional is a valuable way to discuss past scenarios and express how different choices could have led to different outcomes. Practice using this in your conversations and you'll become more fluent in discussing these hypothetical situations and regrets. I look forward to hearing your responses to the writing task, as well as any general comments and questions you may have about this video and the third conditional. Thank you for joining me today and see you again in our next English lesson. Bye!